This Pokemon collector threatened legal action after he was featured on a documentary I made about the hobby of Pokemon cards. Does he have the right to be upset, or is he really just a scalper looking for another payday? I'll let you be the judge. Attention. The purpose of this video is to share my experience in dealing with someone who is confused with fair usage rights. Please do not harass, bully, or antagonize those mentioned in this video. Hello and welcome to the channel. In my last video, I showcased a documentary that we made here in Cincinnati at a local news station. Now, the reason we made this documentary was to point out the craze that's going on right now, especially on the internet, for Pokemon cards. We also got into the history of Pokemon cards and kind of the lulls, the high points, what makes these cards so sought after and why people are going crazy for them right now. So if you want to check out that documentary, there is a link below down in the description and maybe in one of these corners over here, depending on if I figure out how to do that here on YouTube. Now, for those who have watched the documentary, there's probably one person you think I'm referring to when I say a scalper. And that's probably Mr. Lucas here.
I could say I'm a scalper, so to speak. Mainly, I'm going to just resell them. But I'm still going to rip some boxes open, and there's no shame in my game. It's America. If there's profit to be made, someone's going to be there. Might as well be you.
The comment section had a field day referring to Lucas, and especially his quotes right there. And they just don't really appreciate the attitude. But I thought it was important to feature into the documentary to show that scalpers have this mindset. Lucas does say that he could be considered a scalper. He's aware of that fact. And after hanging out with Lucas and actually going to his house and filming with him and his son and sitting down with him, going over the card collection that they have amassed over the past year or so, it seems that he got into it because he wanted to collect with his son, and then he saw that there was a way to make money there. You know, he is capitalizing on the market that is just crazy right now. But I don't think he's like a scalper that we're all imagining. We're not, when I think scalper, I think someone who's just loading up their car full of boxes, or loading up their closets, and as soon as they buy a horde of product that's already online for 200% markups, that's what I think when I think scalper. And me personally, I don't think Lucas fits that billing. Instead, we had another guy who fit the billing in my documentary. So to set this up a little bit, during the documentary, I realized I needed to use a lot of third-party video, meaning I had to go on the internet, find viral videos, and get their permission to use them in the documentary. I use videos of people fighting, people standing in lines, people, rushing the product and grabbing them off the shelves, all while elbowing and punching people. And then I found a few people that had very large collections. Now, in particular, the person I used a few videos from, I found them on TikTok with the name MJ Hold These, which of course is a pun on MJ Holdings, which is a Pokemon card distributor, among other card companies. So right off the bat, I already knew I was dealing with someone who was kind of a troll. Mainly all their videos were hordes of Pokemon products sitting at their house or some location and just basically gloating over the fact that they have more Pokemon than you. Now, looking over some of these videos, I did notice a few hashtags that caught my eye, including hashtag scalper. This was featured on a few of their videos, so I kind of took that as, hey, this is a scalper account. They're here to basically troll everybody online. So I figured, what the hell? Let's reach out to the guy. Let's ask him for permission to use his videos. And I want to take you to the conversation we had going into this. So to start off, I sent the same message I sent to just about any creator that I was trying to reach out to on this. More or less, it's just saying, hey, this is my name. This is why I'm reaching out to you. We're working on this documentary, and we like the content that you have, and we'd like to use it and display it on the documentary. But we also need your permission to do so. And also clarified in there that we would be putting in on-screen credits to whoever gave us the content to use. And just a couple hours later, we got a response. They said, yeah, everything I've posted is all me. And then they asked, how negative is this going to make me look? And then they followed that with, the guy in the car video is actually a friend of mine, and I would like that blurred out, but I don't mind. Now, keep that sentence in mind as we go further, because that's going to play a big part into how this is going to shake down. So I follow up and I say, it's not going to be a reflection of you personally, but we have people giving their opinions on why they don't like resellers and people who defend reselling. I was trying to be nice, not trying to say the scalper word, just trying to butter them up just a little bit so we can get permission to use the content, because I definitely needed to show some kind of hoarding and scalping video in the documentary, so I just wanted to see if I get that video. I go on to say I can blur him out, referring to his friend that he wanted to blur out. It's hard to see his face already. And then I said I appreciated him letting us use the video. He follows up and says, we'd love to see it when it's done. But then they made sure to tell me that they do not resell. Quoting, I don't resell though. I've got 100 to 150K in Pokemon. Everything I've ever bought and ripped as a kid is 10 to 1,000 times more valuable today and continues to climb. This is my investment. And following up to say, I do open a lot as well. Okay, cool. I'd like to believe that you probably do open cards. You have some kind of passion to Pokemon. Let's also look at some of the evidence here. We got videos of you with a crap ton of product, all from the same release, the same box, 100 times over in your closet. I don't know how many collectors have hundreds of the same item just stacked up in a closet, especially when those items just got released recently. So while I was already kind of skeptical of that sentence, I went ahead and just said, I gotcha. Honestly, when I see people buying loads of stuff, I can see how it's easily perceived as scalping. But no one truly knows what people are buying stuff for. People are quick to judge on optics alone. My main reason for wanting to show the footage is just to show a large amount of product being owned/bought. Again, I just wanted to show a lot of hoarding and let the viewer kind of dictate whether or not that's scalping or not. They go on to respond, this is just some of my most recent stuff. I'm going to get my tubs from storage soon. I did the same thing 5 or 6 years ago, just not as crazy. Lots of celebrations. Pikachu is my favorite, so I bought a lot. Getting it to do another video. Okay, cool. Maybe this guy's not a scalper, and he does just have crazy amounts of product, all from similar releases, and he just touts it online and trolls it, whatever. I'm not going to fight the guy on whether or not he's a scalper. It's not up to me to decide. And about a month later, the documentary comes out. We did broadcast this here in Cincinnati a couple months before I posted it on YouTube, so it does get released in August. And like I told him, I did send him a link directly just so he could check out, the videos that we used in the documentary. And, my intentions weren't to be nefarious or be deceitful with these postings. I basically used his video on times that we were really talking about people hoarding product or even scalping. His video does a great job of showing the viewer what that looks like. Because I don't have a lot of product at home. I can't go shoot that. Everybody we talked to didn't have loads and loads of sealed product just sitting around, so we had to show that in a different way. So after they watch the video, they go on to say, ouch, put my videos in every time something mean was said with some emojis. Do I get paid for all my screen time, LOL? Now, that wouldn't be the first time I've heard that joke being in news because, we don't pay people for their time. We don't pay people to be featured in our stories. For the local news, we don't make a ton of money, so we don't have a lot of money just to give to people for being in our projects. This was not a sponsored documentary. This was not a commercialized documentary. This was just something that we could put on airtime. All the ads that went around the documentary had nothing to do with the documentary itself. That didn't go to my paycheck, didn't go to my boss's paycheck. So there was really no income being brought in just for this project. So I could not justify giving out money for someone featured in it. Everyone else that we interviewed for this documentary or featured in, they gave us hours of their free time. They gave us, usability of their content, and no one else had an issue with that. So it's kind of funny this guy wants to be paid. But again, I get this joke a lot, so I thought it was just a joke. And I said, haha, I barely get paid for this project. Thanks for agreeing to let us use your videos. And then he followed up, and this is when I kind of started getting a weird vibe from it. Made me look really bad, LOL. If it blows up a little love would be nice, made me out to be the bad guy. So I respond, I mean to be fair, you use your account to rage bait, so it may work in your favor, haha. Again, just trying to keep things light, trying to keep it funny, because I still couldn't catch this guy's vibe at that point, so I thought we were still kind of joking around. And then they go on to say, I'm not actually that POS. I've been collecting long before all these bandwagons. I get called a scalper, so I've just owned it. I believe you. You do hoard a lot of product, which drives up demand, which contributes to rising market prices. So it was fitting, meaning, a couple of lines we used the shots on were when market prices were rising because people had a lot of product. I go on to say, but I figured you enjoy trolling people on here, so I figured you wouldn't mind it. They respond back, I mean, to be honest, not really a fan that every time the video down-talked people, my video was used. I've never ever sold anything Pokemon, not even a card I pulled. I still have everything. I literally have every ETP back to 2016. Yeah, man, I'm actually pretty upset. I'll be talking to an attorney on Monday. You also agreed to blur out the car, and I can clearly see his tag in the video. All right, so if you remember earlier in our conversation, he did ask in one of his videos where the car is being shown of them piling tons of product in the back of a car, very scalper-like behavior, that he wanted the license plate of his friend's car not to be shown. Now, I did agree not to show the guy's face, and I cropped that out as best as I could. The video wasn't that great of quality anyways, so if you can make it out, good on you. Now, as far as the car goes, I'm not going to blur out the entire car. They're loading product into it. So I was going to blur out the license plate. I didn't feel a need to blur out the entire thing because you can't see all the digits on the license plate up until the last frame, and that's when I blurred out the last digit. Now, you're not going to see that with a naked eye unless you go frame by frame. I get that they think that I didn't blur it because I didn't blur it the entire shot. Now, here's where I kind of fight that a little bit. You posted the video. You posted your friend's car. You posted your friend's face. You posted your friend's license plate. And you expect me to have to do that because you didn't bother doing it? And to be fair, I believed at that time your video had reached thousands and thousands of people. At this point, over 670,000 people have seen your video. That's way more people than are going to watch my news documentary. So I don't really understand your point of concern on that. Maybe in the future, don't post personal things in your videos if you know it's just going to piss off people. So then I go on to say, I actually blurred the last digit on the plate and I cropped out his face. So they respond, we'll be reaching out soon. Have a good night. I follow up with, multiple of your videos are tagged with Scalper. And you didn't bother hiding the license plate either. But yeah, have a good night. They follow up with, I've already sent screenshots of our convo to my company's attorney, and seeing you didn't send me any official documentation to sign granting permission, he says it will be an easy case. I either want to be removed from the video or to be compensated. Now, as far as the documentation for permission, let's go back up to the top of the conversation. I asked for your permission to show the videos and to give you on-screen courtesy, and you said, quote, I don't mind. Seems like you gave us permission there. After I talked to my boss, and he saw this, and he saw I don't mind, he had no problem using it whatsoever. He said that's an easy one there because you did give us permission. Now, here's what I think happened. I don't think you actually talked to anybody that had any kind of legal authority or legal advice because I think you were just trying to mess with me. And you know what? I get it. If you can make any money off of this, I get it. But at the same time, you represent yourself as an online personality who's trolling people and using hashtag Scalper. So I don't know what kind of case you really have. As far as us using your content, we do have fair use on you for this because we're not using your content fully. We're not using your content without transforming it in any way. We're also a news company who's using it for news commentary, which is protected by fair rights use. But again, I think that just because you gave us simple permission earlier in our conversation just negates any problems that you have anyways. Now, since this conversation, MJ Holdies has not posted much since then. His last post was actually back in early September, so I don't know what's going on with him. I honestly hope to wish him well. Hope he's doing all right in life. Maybe he made a new account after our conversation, or maybe he just, he just isn't collecting Pokemon right now. Who knows? So, if you're out there watching this, Mr. MJ Holdies, I wish you well in life, and, hope your collecting is going well. And if you are scalping, please don't. But hey, you do what you want. As Lucas said, this is America, and you make money however you want. And if you choose to make it that way and be scummy, that's on you. Now, those were just some of my thoughts and opinions on the matter. I would like to know what you all think, though. Do you think MJ Holdies has a right to be upset? Or do you think he's just another scalper looking to make an easy payday? Do you think he planned this from the start when he gave us permission? Because I kind of do. I kind of think he knew what kind of videos he was making. He knew how they were going to be used in certain contexts. And I think he knew that he could try to use this to come after us. But that's just all my opinion. So that's all I have for you guys today. Again, I want to say thank you all to anyone that checked out the documentary. Thank you for watching the video today. And please like and subscribe and stay tuned for future content. Thank you guys.